I'm sure you've heard the news. The legend, the line that's been whispered on beaches and shouted in movie theaters for decades. It's a piece of information so ingrained in our collective consciousness that it feels like an undeniable fact of nature. Sharks smell blood from miles away, right? The idea is terrifyingly simple. A single drop of blood hits the water, and from the deep blue, an army of sharks, guided by an unerring, primal instinct, begins to swarm, converging on the source with deadly precision. It's the ultimate horror movie scenario played out in the real world. Well, let's slice through the hype. Today, we're diving deep into the science of a shark's sense of smell to separate the Hollywood fiction from the fascinating reality. Sharks do have an amazing nose, or more accurately, an incredible olfactory system. It's one of the most sophisticated sensory tools in the entire animal kingdom. Unlike humans, a shark's nostrils, called nares, are used exclusively for smelling. They don't lead to the throat and have nothing to do with breathing. Water flows into the incurrent opening, passes over a chamber filled with sensory tissue, and flows out the excurrent opening. Inside this chamber is a complex, folded structure, called the olfactory lamellae. Think of it like a massive, folded sheet of paper crammed into a tiny box. These folds dramatically increase the surface area, packing it with millions of receptor cells. Some sharks, like the lemon shark, can have up to 10 million of these sensory cells. This is what gives them their legendary sensitivity. So, how sensitive are we talking? You've probably heard the famous statistic, a shark can detect 1 part blood per million parts water. Some studies even suggest sensitivities as high as 1 part per billion. To put that in perspective, 1 part per billion is equivalent to a single drop of liquid in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. It's an astounding feat of biology. But here's the critical distinction. Detecting a substance and locating its source are two completely different challenges. Those sensitivity tests are often conducted in controlled lab environments, with calm water and no other competing smells. The real ocean, however, is a chaotic, dynamic, and incredibly complex soup of information. And that brings us to the biggest obstacle for any scent trying to travel a long distance: dilution. The ocean is not a still swimming pool. It's a world of powerful currents, swirling eddies, and constant turbulence. When a scent, like blood, enters the water, it doesn't travel in a straight, unbroken line. It forms a plume that is immediately attacked by the physics of the ocean. The process of diffusion, where molecules naturally spread out, is actually quite slow. The real game changer is advection, the bulk movement of the water itself. A current can carry a scent plume, but it also stretches it, twists it, and tears it apart. Turbulence, the chaotic swirling of water, is the great diluter. It rapidly mixes the scent with vast volumes of surrounding water, breaking a continuous trail into countless disconnected patches. So even if a shark is downstream from the source, it isn't receiving a steady, easy-to-follow highway of scent. It's getting fleeting, intermittent whiffs. This is why you often see sharks swimming in a zigzag pattern when tracking a smell. They are trying to stitch together these broken pieces of the scent puzzle, moving back and forth to find the edges of the trail, and reorient themselves. It's an active, energy-intensive search, not a passive commute. Furthermore, not all sharks are created equal. The shark of popular imagination is often a great white. But there are over 500 different species, each adapted to its own environment and hunting style. A nurse shark, which spends much of its time near the seafloor, has a different olfactory setup than a pelagic blue shark that roams the open ocean. The hammerhead's iconic head, or cephalofoil, is a perfect example. The wide spacing of its nares allows it to sample a broader swath of water, giving it a sort of stereo smelling that helps it pinpoint a scent's direction more effectively. This is a specialized adaptation for hunting, not a universal shark trait. And what about other smells? The ocean is a fragrant place. It's filled with the scent of decaying algae, fish waste, spawning corals, and countless other organic compounds. For a shark, a plume of blood isn't entering a sterile void. It's one signal among a cacophony of others. The shark's brain has to filter out all this background noise to focus on the specific amino acids that signal a potential meal. It's less like smelling a steak in an empty room, and more like trying to find a single flower in a sprawling botanical garden. Even factors like water temperature and salinity can affect how scents travel and how well a shark's receptors function. It's a deeply complex interplay of chemistry, physics, and biology. So, let's break down the myths directly. First, the miles away claim. For a shark to detect blood from miles away, the conditions would have to be impossibly perfect, a strong, steady, and unbroken current flowing directly from the source to the shark, with no turbulence and no competing smells. In the real ocean, this scenario is virtually non-existent. A more realistic range for effectively tracking a scent is in the hundreds of meters, maybe up to a kilometer in ideal conditions, not multiple miles. Now for the feeding frenzy. Myth. The idea that a single drop of blood will instantly trigger an aggressive, uncontrolled swarm is pure Hollywood. A cup of blood won't send a feeding frenzy across the sea. While the scent of blood is an attractant, it's primarily an investigative signal. It tells a shark, hey, something interesting might be happening over there. It doesn't scream, attack at all costs. The shark will approach cautiously to investigate, using its other senses, like sight, and its ability to detect electrical fields, to assess the situation. A tiny amount of blood with no other signs of a struggling animal is more likely to be met with curiosity than with a full-blown frenzy. So if it's not a drop of blood from miles away, what really drives most shark encounters? The answer is far more practical and less dramatic. Most real shark encounters are about location, location, location. Sharks congregate where their food is. This includes areas near seal colonies, river mouths where fish gather, or steep underwater drop-offs. If you are swimming or surfing in a shark's dining room, the chances of an encounter naturally go up. It's a matter of shared geography, not a supernatural summons. And behavior, both ours and theirs, is key. Splashing erratically can mimic the vibrations of a struggling fish. Wearing shiny jewelry can flash like fish scales. Surfers on boards can create a silhouette that from below might be mistaken for a seal. These are cases of mistaken identity, not malice. The shark is investigating a potential food source based on visual and vibrational cues, not hunting humans. Water visibility also plays a huge role. In murky water, a shark relies less on its excellent vision and more on its other senses, increasing the chance of an investigatory bite to figure out what something is. Understanding this helps us share the ocean more safely. The advice isn't to never enter the water with a small cut, it's to be smart. Avoid swimming alone, at dawn or dusk when sharks are most active. Don't swim near people fishing or large groups of seals. Pay attention to posted warnings. This isn't about fearing sharks, it's about respecting them as wild animals and understanding their world. So, let's recap. Do sharks have a phenomenal sense of smell? Absolutely. Can they detect incredibly minute concentrations of substances in water? Yes. But does a single drop of blood create a highway for a swarm of sharks from miles away? So, myth busted. The reality is a complex dance of chemistry, physics, and biology. Factors like species, ocean currents, turbulence, and the presence of other scents all matter far more than the Hollywood drama. Blood helps, but it doesn't summon sharks like a siren. It's just one piece of information in a vast and dynamic ocean, a world that is far more intricate and fascinating than any movie myth.